I'm aware I'm covered in paint in my hair and my hands. You'll have to forgive me. I am actually halfway through, well, a little less than halfway, painting my downstairs library. There'll be maybe a video or a picture up soon, so please ignore the paint all over me. Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah, and this is going to be my first weekend review for 2023, which blows my mind to say out loud, but here we are. This is going to also be the first weekend review where I do not cover manga. Moving forward, I'm going to be doing a manga Monday, monthly manga Monday. So on once a month on a Monday, I'll wrap up all of the manga that I have read that month. I will mention what I've read briefly in the wrap-ups, but I'm not going to actually go into detail on it because I know a lot of people aren't interested in manga. And I have a tendency sometimes to binge a series, so we're not going to cover those on these wrap-ups. I'm going to keep this to my regular like novels and books and stuff. So to mention those manga and get them out of the way, I have read I think the only new manga that I have read since my last wrap-up are volumes 8 to 16 of Jujutsu Kaisen. I binged through a bunch of these 2 or 3 days ago, I think. Yeah. So far, I'm honestly on the fence about the series so far. I think the mangaka is pacing it oddly, but that's it I'm going to say on that. I'll talk more about it in it's going to be like a vlog style wrap up I'll post at the end of the month. So the other couple books I want to talk about quickly are the picture books that I've read with my daughter. Just to throw them out there, I love picture books, so I want to mention them when we have some good ones. The first one I actually checked out for myself to read and ended up enjoying it so much that we read it with Beanie, is Reading Beauty. This is by Deborah Underwood and illustrated by Meg Hunt. I believe I inserted clips of this into a previous wrap-up. The artwork in this is stunning, and this is basically a Sleeping Beauty retelling, but on like a science fiction planet and with books. Instead of a needle, it's a paper cut. And she ends up teaching the evil fairy who cursed her to read, and brings everything to a happy ending. It's very cute. I enjoyed it. Another book that we read was Construction Site on Christmas Night by Sherry Dusky-Rinker and A.G. Ford. I don't know that Beanie enjoyed this one very much. I liked it okay. It was very cute. And I don't know that the message in this one was anything besides just giving gifts on Christmas, that sort of thing. So it was okay. It wasn't one that we reread, and it wasn't one she wanted to reread. We also read Not Yet Yeti. This is by Bethany V. Freitas, illustrated by Maddie Frost. I actually love this one. I love the illustrations in this. I love the story, and it is one that she enjoyed. It's one my husband and I enjoyed, and we actually have referenced it several times. The idea of, you might not be able to do it yet, but if you keep trying, one day you can. So this was a winner. This might be one that I end up buying as well for her collection because we like that so much. Another one I really loved, this one I might buy for my collection, Once Upon a Winter Day by Lisa Woodruff. The artwork in this is absolutely gorgeous. We have a lot of full page spreads like this one here, and we're following a little mouse one winter's day as it travels and sees different animals and things in the forest. It's about a little boy who's bored, and his mother says go out and play in the snow, and he follows the trail of this little mouse. The cats have the zooms. Trail this little mouse, and he explores the forest, and he goes home and says, I wasn't bored. Here's the story I found. Beautiful book. A lot about appreciating the outdoors, appreciating wildlife, that sort of thing. Something I can really get behind. And the final picture book that I will... Wow. The final picture book I'll mention, which was one of our Christmas books, is Frankenstein's Fright Before Christmas. This is a Christmas monster book about Dr. Stein, Satan, Miss Devil, and all of her little monsters, and Santa Claus crash lands in and brings them new heads, and then they all go for a ride. It was very silly. It was very silly, and it's full of monsters and mayhem, and that's the kind of things that my daughter really likes, monsters and spooky things. So that was just a fun Christmas book. Don't know that I would recommend that one per se, but it was still fun. So that's all the picture books out of the way. We'll talk, I'm going to mention briefly, because I do have a vlog project coming up where I read Dawn May for the first time. The first one that I finished was The Scum Villain Self-Saving System by MXTX. This was really fun. Actually, I expected it to be a little bit more, actually I don't know what I expected. Maybe more like hard to read. I almost expected it to be kind of like flowery and over the top. No, it was very good. It reminded me a lot of some of the more fun light novels that I've read. And Dawn May, if you don't know, I'm still learning. It's a genre of books from China that's usually closely related to boys' love, but it has become more of a widespread genre that's read by a lot of people of all genders and types, and this is one of the more popular ones. It's kind of like a Japanese light novel, but not. It's its own thing. So Seven Seas started publishing these absolutely gorgeous editions of some of the most popular ones, and it's got interior illustrations as well. And so I decided to pick up, I picked this and two others up when they first came out and never got to them, and so I'm doing a vlog project to read them, and I super enjoyed this. It was very fun, very funny. I'll talk more about it in that vlog that is coming up. So the actual books that I read, this is over the like Christmas week, because this is technically a 2-week in review. So for the digital books that I read The Visitor by Sergio Gomez. It was okay. This is a alien horror Christmas novella, and I don't actually think I liked it very much. The best part about it is the cover. It wasn't scary. It wasn't fun. It was just kind of okay. It was like 80 pages of blah. I don't have much to say about it. I think it leans into this whole like blood and gore horror, maybe, is what it was aiming for, and that sort of thing does not faze me in the least. I have been in some intensely bloody and gory situations in real life, and so now I don't get fazed. So this one was very for me. I then finished Freedom is a Constant Struggle by Angela, I think her middle initial is Y, Davis. This was incredibly impactful. This reframed a lot of thoughts I had, especially about the movement to do away with the prison system, the reformation or the abolition of like the police force, that sort of thing. I really enjoyed the thoughts and the ideas that she had in this. It was also heartbreaking at times. It was very hard to read. I'm looking forward to picking up more books by and about Angela Davis, and I believe that she referenced a compatriot of hers who lives in Cuba several times, and I believe she also has a memoir out, and I might pick that up as well. I can't remember her name. I could see the memoir in my head, but I'm so bad at names. But this was amazing. I am very happy to have read it, and I don't want to speak too much on it because I haven't fully grasped all the ideas in it. I plan on getting another copy, or my own copy, because I read this digitally from the library, and going through and actually breaking it down and getting more of an in-depth look at it. But I think on a first read through, it really did give me some new ideas and thoughts, and it was recommended to read before reading Babel, so I'm excited to actually get into Babel now with this new background to it. Moving on to some lighter stuff, the next romance I read was Lovelight Farms. Oh no, I don't have the author's name written down. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. This one, so this one had the unfortunate luck to be, I was reading this at the same time I was reading another romance novel that I'll get to in just a second, that did a thing that I really hate. And so this one I got super hyper conscious of a certain thing, B.K. Borison. This was super fun. It was cute. It made me laugh several times. It was very much like a holiday easy romance. It's about a girl who owns a Christmas tree farm, and she is kind of struggling because of debts and things that she owes, so she enters this competition to have this influencer come and visit the farm, and it will get her all this publicity, this money, that sort of thing. And along the way, she has to pretend that her best friend is her boyfriend because she lied on the application. It's about them falling in love. First off, the main character is very stupid. The third act breakup was a really terrible one. I don't know what it is with me lately with the romances, but I have just been picking the ones with the dumbest third act breakups. This one was so ridiculous. It made me so mad. The third act breakup it just made me so mad because she just so... Make it make sense. There's nothing in her brain. How did she not realize? Anyway, bad third act breakup. It didn't make sense. The other thing, which is totally a me thing, and again I say this was influenced by another romance book I was reading at the same time, is that Luca, the main male hero in this, is Italian, and his mother and grandmother and aunts and stuff, all his family have been eating, and he's always eating Italian food. He's always talking about food. Not once do we ever hear about him doing anything fitness or workout or exercise related, but he's still covered in muscles. Does not make sense. I'm sure it's there, and I'm sure maybe she just didn't want to include it because a lot of people don't like reading about exercise in their romance, evidently, but like, those don't happen naturally. Six packs especially don't happen naturally unless you're super, super skinny to a probably unhealthy level. They don't happen. They don't just show up. Anyway, those were like one little quibble, and the third act breakup thing was a really big quibble, but I like this. I gave it 4 stars. Then I attempted to read and ended up skimming through and finishing out Not So Kind Regards by Cleo Evans. I just really dislike aggressive romantic partners, and this one had 2 of them, and I hate it. I dislike aggression in every way. I'm not an aggressive person, and I don't like aggressive people. They put me off, so this one just didn't work. I like Cleo Evans online. I might try another one of her books, but this one, it's a no for me. Let's see. I read 2 books that I can't talk about because of HarperCollins strike. I read the second Lightfall graphic novel, and I'm super mad that I can't talk about it. Because of the HarperCollins strike. I also read Rescue Tales, The Treacherous Tower, which is a middle grade book coming out later this year. Also can't talk about it because of the strike either. Hopefully that'll be resolved quickly and I can talk about those. The rest of what I read, yes, the rest of what I read is all physical, so I have them right here. The first one that I finished is These Fleeting Shadows by Kate Alice Marshall. I really liked this. I gave it 4 stars. This is the story of Helen Vaughn, who is drawn back to her family's maybe haunted mansion due to an inheritance trick by her grandfather, and she ends up being forced to stay a year on the grounds to inherit a metric ton of money and the house itself. And the house, like I said, could be haunted, and there is something also very weird about Helen herself. She causes people to either love her or absolutely hate her, and even if they love her, eventually they come to hate her, and she doesn't understand why. She's had this problem since she was a child. I gave it 4 because I think maybe the author didn't quite finish what she was trying to say with the book. I think she was trying to start a conversation on like the violence and the injustices carried out against women, children, young girls, and like the other, but there was a lot in here that was kind of left hanging. It felt a little bit messy ultimately, and also I strongly disliked the route her mother took ultimately in the end. As a parent, I say this as someone who I'm coming probably from a place I really struggled to have children, and so like I treasure my child to a level that maybe not everybody does. But the fact that her mother in the end seemingly abandoned her, and I know there was at the very, very end, you know, she's waiting for you to come out. If that had been my daughter, even with what had happened, I would be fighting tooth and claw to get back to her. I would be there every day. I would never leave. I don't care. Everything that they set up, you know, all the twist, still my kid, still raised her. I'm gonna take care of them, you know, that's where I'm at. So like 4 stars for those 2 reasons. I felt like the family isn't quite right, and then like the slight messiness to the message, but otherwise fantastic book. Super enjoyed it. I ate it up. This is gonna be one that if I can find it used, I will get it back for my shelves, and I will probably mark it up and leave it on the shelves for a reread, because it is one that I could see myself rereading. The next book I read is Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cochran. This is the book that colored my Lovelight Farms read. I will say before I get into a tiny rant, I'm trying to try not to, I ended up really liking this. The cover does not match at all the characters in this. So like these 2 characters, it's not them. Love the color of it, but the character's inaccurate. This is about Ellie, who enters a fake marriage agreement with a guy she barely knows and goes with him to his family's house for the holidays, and finds that the woman that she had a magical one day and one night is his sister, and shenanigans proceed from there. I really liked this. Again, enjoyed it. 4 stars. 2 things that knocked down that star for me is the main character is completely insufferable to me. In the beginning half of this book, couldn't stand her. Couldn't stand her. Made me so mad. But her growth at the end is great. I love seeing where she went at the end and how she grew and how she, you know, tried for more and got better and started to take care of herself. Really liked that. So it's fine. The thing that really got me was within the first like 30-40 pages, she makes the comment offhandedly, and I know it was meant as a joke, but I see this stuff all the time, especially in traditionally published romances. I hate public displays of physical, what was it? Physical prowess or physical something. She's crapping on somebody with a gym picture, and granted, it's a stupid gym picture based on the description, but the idea being, if you work out, if you're fit, you're either dumb or you're lesser, because then she proceeds to also look down on, I think his name was Andrew, the guy Andrew, the guy she's in this fake relationship with, because he's fit and hot. And then at one point he goes to the gym and she has to mockingly talk about how he has to do a gym. And then after about halfway through, there's a scene with chopping wood. Her and the other woman are in this cabin. They have to chop wood for reasons, and she gets super into her Jack chopping wood, doing a physical activity, and she specifically says, thinking about the muscles that are involved in that. And then she chops wood and she thinks about how good it felt that she used her body in a way that she didn't normally use it. And like, on one hand, I could see that as being like, maybe she's changing her attitude about that. On the other hand, it felt like in the book, and I say I've seen this in traditionally published romances, a lot of them take the pisser out on people who work out and exercise, and as someone who gets picked on and ridiculed and made fun of and judged for exercising the way I do, that's very like bothersome to me. It frustrates me. I use exercise as a way to manage my mental health. I use exercise as a way to like stay in a place where I think I'm healthy. Exercise has helped save my life, frankly. Like, I think we should not shit on it. But we're here. This is what's happening in romance right now, I guess. I don't see it a lot in like indie pub stuff, but in traditional romance it's more and more common, and it's very frustrating for me, and it's probably just a me thing, but wow, is it annoying. And that's just where I'm at with it. I'm just annoyed. So gonna put that aside, and we're gonna, it's fine, it's fine. The last book I read was We Spread by Ian Reid. This one is a horror novel about an elderly woman who is put into a care facility, and you never know if she's losing her mind or if there's something nefarious going on in the care facility. This plays really big into fears that I think a lot of people in my generation have, and that's like fears of getting older, of running out of time, of death, that sort of thing. I don't personally have those fears, so it didn't play into that for me, so in that way it kind of missed. But I did like the creeping tension and intrigue that Ian Reid built in this. So on that hand, it was really good. I read this in a day as well. It's a super fast read. The way it's formatted in these big paragraph-like chunks make it a super easy read. If you have those sorts of fears, this could be very triggering. I know it's been making the rounds on BookTube, and there's been a few vlogs of people reading it, like crying and reacting. I think it's worth a read if it sounds interesting to you. Just a elderly woman, is she losing her mind, or is she, is there something else going on? And you never find out at the end. At the end is very ambiguous. And based on the author's note at the end, I have my idea of what's going on. It makes it even sadder. But everyone's interpretation is going to be different. So one that I liked, I don't know that it lives up to the hype, but it is very good. And finally, I will show you what I'm currently reading because I have been talking for so long. My camera is fussing at me, so I'll show you what I'm currently reading real quick. I am almost halfway through Loot by Jennifer Thorne. This is a midsummer style horror novel. I originally thought it was YA, so it took me a minute to recalibrate, but we're getting into some grisly deaths, so I'll let you know what I think more of it when maybe next week. I am going to start That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon, Mead Mishaps Book 1 by Kimberly Lemming. Probably today. This will be my light read after Loot. This is one my husband got me for Christmas. And my next Dawn May read is going to be Heaven's Official Blessings, but also by MXTX. I know nothing about this one. All I know is that cover is absolutely stunning. I really like it. And that's what I'm currently reading. Physically, my ebook right now is City of Nightmares by Rebecca Schaefer. It's okay so far. I'll say that. It's okay. It's hitting some good notes and missing on other notes. So we'll see. That one's an arc. It's coming out, I think this month or next month. So there will be a review up of it. But that's everything that I have read in the past 2 weeks and what I'm currently reading. I will be back on schedule with another week in review next week. So I will talk to you guys again then. Let me know down below what you've read. If you've read any of what I've read, what you have thoughts on, that sort of thing. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye. Oh, I'm a little high from the paint fumes.